The years were kind to Bobbin Threadbare. The boy grew tall and slender, with wide blue eyes that sparkled with mischief and intelligence. Yet Bobbin never went to school. The elders of the guild would not permit it. The other children were told he was a half-wit, and they taunted him with terrible cruelty, throwing stones if he came too near. And so the friendless boy spent his days in solitude, combing the beaches for sticks of firewood and exploring the hills and forests of the weaver's little island, until no one knew them better than he. Old Hetchel cared for Bobbin like her own son. She saw his growing bitterness and begged the elders to end his cruel exile. But the elders were afraid of Bobbin, and not without reason. His unexpected birth had thrown the pattern into chaos. Year after year they watched with growing apprehension as shadows of apocalypse spread across the web in the loom. Bobbin's thread was weaving its way towards a destiny of overwhelming consequence. The pattern was disintegrating. No one knew how to stop it. The elders never told Bobbin who he was or how he came to be. They prayed that Bobbin would be unable to fulfill his destiny so long as he never left the island and never learned the ways of spell weaving. They did not suspect that Bobbin's education had already begun.
Not tonight, Mother Hetchel.
Especially tonight. Draw the curtains, boy. Sit here by the fire. Now, tell me, how many threads are there in a draft?
4.
Their names?
The throw.
That's 1.
The beat.
2.
The treadle and the rest.
Good. Let's see if you remember the draft I taught you. Spin it for me. Pity. Listen to me. Now you know what the other boys do in school all day.
I guess I'll never learn to weave.
Rubbish. Do you suppose every weaver starts out with a golden throat? It takes years of practice, years. How long do you suppose the elders have been weaving? Nearly as long as I have, and that is a very long time indeed.
But where do I begin?
You begin with this. Do you know what it is?
No.
This is called a distaff. Our ancestors used a distaff to spin flax into thread. We use it to spin music and light into threads of influence.
Show me.
Hold the distaff in your hands, like this. Don't be afraid. Now, spin that draft I taught you again. Just the first thread. Flat. Spin it again, dear. This time, slide the thread high in your throat, like this. Can you do that?
I think so. It's glowing.
It's telling you when your pitch is correct. Try the beat and treadle threads. You learn quickly.
What happens if I spin all 4?
Let's find out, shall we? Let me shut this first. All right. Listen carefully. I want you to spin those 4 threads again. Wait for the distaff to glow before you go on to the next. As you spin the last thread, point the distaff at the ball of yarn inside my knitting basket.
But you just closed it.
Indeed. Those 4 threads form a pattern of opening. You're going to lift up the top of that basket without even touching it. Whenever you're ready.
Does it hurt?
Tingles a bit. Remember, concentrate on the ball of yarn inside the basket. Spin. Concentrate. Now, point. Not at the window.
Wow!
Shh! Blow out that light. Sit still for a minute. I don't think anybody heard us.
What other drafts do you know?
Give me that. You've done enough weaving for one night. Off to bed with you. You have a big day ahead, and we both have to get up very early.
Let me go alone this year, Mother Hetchel.
Alone? Well, I suppose you're old enough. Go alone, Bobbin. I don't mind staying in bed late this time.
It was still dark when Bobbin awoke. Quietly, so as not to disturb old Hetchel, he slipped into his warm grey robe and stepped outside into the chill before dawn. The climb up the cliff path was steep and dangerous in the darkness. Only the waves crashing against the rocks below broke the stillness. Bright stars twinkled overhead. It was still half an hour before sunrise when Bobbin reached the top of the cliff. He sat down beneath a crooked old tree and leaned back to wait for the 17th visit of the great swan. In less than a minute, he was fast asleep.